Hi guys, welcome to Flip the Deck Tarot. In today's pick a card reading, we're going to be getting channeled messages from your person's higher self. So I thought this would be a really interesting pick a card to do. We're going to get messages from your person, but it's really going to be coming from the perspective of their higher self, their more evolved self, their more tuned in, tapped in spiritual side. So this might help to clarify some issues about what's going on with this person, what they might be working on, what they are striving for at a deep soul level when it comes to this connection. So we have 3 readings to choose from today. Reading number 1 is going to be our Aquamarine group. So we have this Aquamarine necklace here, and I will try to give you a close-up of the stone. We can get it to focus. There we go. So that's for reading number 1. Reading number 2 is going to be our pearl group. So we have a pearl necklace here. So I will give you a close-up of this necklace, particularly our little pearl on the end. Sorry about that. For reading number 2. And for reading number 3, we have a sapphire necklace. So this is going to be our sapphire group. So here is a close-up for reading number 3. So as usual, take as much time as you need to select the reading that is calling to you the most, the reading that you feel the most drawn to. I'm going to drop your timestamps in the description box down below, and I'll just go ahead and get started with reading number 1. I will see you in your reading. Hi, number 1, if you were drawn to the Aquamarine necklace, this is going to be your reading. We're going to get some channeled messages from your person's higher self. So I want to start your reading by talking a little bit about the stone that you were drawn to. We will see how this might tie into the reading as we move along. So looking at this Aquamarine is actually known to kind of have a protective energy or a shielding effect. So I feel like already this person's higher self is coming through as wanting to protect this union or wanting to protect some part of this union. Even if their ways of going about it seem flawed at times, I do think that there's some form of protection that that seems to be coming through as a main contributing factor when I'm tapping into this person's energy. This is actually, interestingly enough, a stone that was used to protect against physical harm during battles at sea. So that's very literal. That's a very literal form of protection, but a more figurative way to view kind of that idea of a battle at sea would be to kind of view this as a battle of the emotions. So tapping into that water energy. So this might be an indication that this person is having some sort of internal battle when it comes to their emotional side or the emotions that have been tapped into as a result of this connection. This is also a stone that's known to be helpful when it comes to sifting through or sorting through information. So that's making me think of mental clarity. So yeah, I'm kind of already picking up on the energy of your person's higher self, having a little bit more perspective, having a little bit more clarity than their 3D self does. And I would say that there's kind of a special emphasis already being placed on emotional clarity with this stone and the war that might be, I feel like it's being waged inside of them in the emotional space. There's kind of a war there. So that's some channeled energy already, but we are going to, of course, use a little bit of some tarot, some oracle, and tap into that a little bit more. So I'm going to set this off to the side. I'm actually going to do something that I rarely do, and that is I'm not going to flip this card. I am not going to flip this card until later on in your reading. We're going to use this maybe as like an advice card or something. I'm going to set that aside, and let's dive in with some animal spirit type energy here and figure out what's going on with your person. A little bit of suspense for all of us. I'm curious to know what that energy is, but I think it's going to better serve us towards the end of the reading. So what I really want to look at here, I want to look at this person's energy on the surface level, and then I want to look at the energy that their higher self is coming through with. And what's really interesting about this, I think, is We're going to be looking at how this person presents on a surface level through the perspective of their higher self. So we might even have a little indication of areas that they wish that they could change, or ways that they wish they would behave differently. But we're going to look at some surface level information here. So the first card, let's look at your person's energy on the surface. Okay, we have the Panther. Oh, that is the first word that came to mind was like ferocious. I feel like this is really ferocious energy. Let's make more room here. We will get to it. We'll get to that card. I really feel like I'm already picking up on, again, this feeling of protectiveness or guardedness. And that was a major theme that was coming out, kind of just tapping into the energy of your person's higher self and what was being channeled. There was this this protective energy. I'm feeling that with this Panther. I feel like on the surface, this person can seem like somebody who can put up a wall sometimes, almost like this is somebody who can feel like they're really hard to get to. In some cases, for some of you, this could be somebody who is physically difficult for you to get to. They might be someone who lives far away from you, or someone where your differences have come into play in this connection a lot. So there might just be kind of this energy of like this person is either standoffish, or they have a wall up, almost like don't get too close or you'll get burned type of energy here. And this is really coming from a protective sense. I feel like what's interesting to note is your person's higher self is coming through with the kind of the information that this person protects themselves very fiercely, but they also have a fierce protective instinct when it comes to you. And sometimes I think that they might be misusing that. So that's why it's interesting to kind of tap into the energy of this person's higher self, because we're able to see how sometimes we're flawed in our approach. So this person does have a protective instinct when it comes to you. And I feel like in some cases, their higher self is saying that there's a part of them that even wants to protect you from them. Yeah, but protection is key here. I have this overwhelming feeling of them almost fighting against something when it comes to you, or when it comes to this relationship. What's interesting about this energy is I can feel that there is so much depth to this person, maybe more than initially meets the eye, or more than you would realize looking at a surface level. There's so much depth here. There's so much heart. There's so much feeling and emotion beneath what they're displaying. If you even just look at this Panther's eyes, you see how everything that's out here, everything on the outside is, it's black and white. It's kind of dull. It's colorless. I feel like this person might feel that there's a lot of emptiness in their life at times. They look at areas of their life and they feel that void. They feel that emptiness. But what I see when I look at this person's, or not this person's, but this Panther's eyes, is really kind of the energy. It's taking me right to the heart chakra, to be honest with you. And that again was kind of information that I was tapping into with this Aquamarine. We were talking about this emotion that is stirring in this person, or this emotional war that might be waged within them. This protective energy that I'm feeling from them, their higher self is pointing to, this is coming from a desire to guard that heart space, to protect that soft inside, to protect that part of them that really feels deeply exposed and vulnerable by this connection. So something has triggered this person on a surface level to be protective of that heart space. And it's almost like, if we think of this as the emotion that's going on inside of them, or this deep heart space, it's like if you relate this back to the way that the outside energy here is this black and white energy, this is somebody who can see the world as very black and white, who can see the world as very factual, and not wanting to use their emotions to approach the world, to analyze the world, to interact with the world, trying to hold back that emotional connection. But also there's kind of this feeling that in a lot of ways, the excitement, or the life, or the energy, the whole vibe of life has been sucked out of their experience in some cases. So their higher self sees that. I feel like their 3D self might not be as aware of that. They might not realize that cutting off that emotional part of them does steal some of the joy and some of the juice and some of that, like, that delicious essence of life. It can steal that from them. So their higher self is fully aware of that. 3D self in protection mode. there really is, there's this fierce side of them. There's this panther in them. There's this fierce protector. And it makes sure that that sensitive side of them is kept safe. There even might be, in some cases, kind of this element of resistance to these deeper feelings and emotions that is being awakened in this person. And I feel like their higher self sees that so clearly. Their higher self can point exactly to the resistance, whereas their, I actually don't know what I'm calling it the 3D self, but I hope you understand what I mean by that. Kind of their matrix self, their more physical, their more surface level self doesn't always see exactly where that resistance is. It's almost like this panther energy could have been used to kind of run from this connection, or even used to push you away or to scare you off. And I feel like for some of you, there's a specific instance that their higher self is pointing to, and they're saying when they said that, when they did that, when they acted that way, it was really to try to scare you away, because what was happening inside of them was so scary. What they were feeling inside was scaring them away in some cases, or in some way, and really fighting against that. On the surface, this person can get kind of defensive when they sense these deeper feelings, or when they feel like these feelings have been triggered within them. And the panther really, this panther energy, it talks about our inner strength. I feel like in some ways this person is fighting an internal battle, as well as whatever external battle might be evident in this connection, but they've got an internal battle going on as well. So there's almost like that internal war we've been talking about the whole time. There's this internal war. It's like, should I give in to these feelings? Should I let them overcome me? Should I allow this like heart-centered energy to kind of take over, to take the lead? Or should I fight against this and protect myself and keep myself safe? That's the question that's going on. And their higher self sees that exactly, sees that very clearly. So with this panther energy, it's about cultivating that internal strength that's going to lead us to a place where we can purge what's not needed and break out of that stagnancy. Yeah, I feel like although the surface energy takes on kind of a defensive tone, this is alluding to a shift that's happening on a deeper level for this person, because the panther energy really pushes us to grow. It's fire energy. It's gonna talk to us about our passions. It's gonna talk to us about what's driving us, and there's a desire for growth driving this person. I feel like for a lot of you, this person might be a fire sign. Especially if they're a fire sun sign or a fire rising sign, but they could have fire anywhere in their chart, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. That for some of you is relevant in this situation, because I feel like that surface level energy being such ferocious fire energy is indicative of something there. So let's look at what's going on. What is going on with this person's higher self? What's the energy of this person's higher self? We have this stingray. I feel like this is really interesting that this person's higher self is coming through with this stingray energy, because with the panther representing that surface level energy, we kind of had a reference to the heart chakra here with these green eyes, this intense heart energy that's trying to pour from them. It's trying to emanate from them. With the stingray, we see all of the chakras here. We see everything lit up. We see everything in connection. We see everything in alignment. I feel like on the surface, the way I would describe this energy on the surface is like their higher self is saying, what they display is just a glimpse of the emotion that's boiling beneath the surface, and what's going on at a higher level, at a deeper level, at a more spiritual level, is all of these main chakras, or these main energy centers, being represented here. And that's a deep level of connection. That's a deep level of awareness. That's a deep level and indication of awakening happening in them. So this person's higher self is very aware of the awakening process that they're going through. And there's kind of like this healing on a deeper level with the stingray. It's all about, this energy is all about sensing. It's all about becoming more sensitive and tapping into and liberating our emotions. This can even talk about healing old emotional wounds that have been buried or that got covered up. So I feel like your person's higher self is really placing an emphasis on the bigger picture here and saying that even if your person on a surface level seems very resistant to change or seems to be fighting against some of these more heart-centered energies, they're actually on a journey to heal these emotional wounds and to make I feel like to make progress in terms of this protective energy that comes out in them, like progress in terms of always wanting to throw up a guard, always wanting to protect themselves. Stingray energy really, it asks us to choose between the old and the new. So choosing between that old familiar energy that we've been living in, we've been operating from, and the new, more honestly, more difficult, more growth focused, more uncomfortable and unfamiliar energy that represents where we're headed. So your person's higher self is focused on a deep evolution, on growth, and their higher self understands the importance of being able to tap into these emotions and to not hold them back, for it to not be so guarded. And what will trigger them emotionally. I feel like their higher self is so aware of what's going to trigger them emotionally, whereas their surface level, what they're presenting on a surface level, they often are triggered. Something will trigger them. They're not even exactly sure what it is. And they're not exactly sure why they react the way that they do, is how this is coming through. This is water sign energy here. So Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces energy with the stingray. And I will say this person's higher self is eager for this growth, eager for this expansion. And that could be a little clue about that internal battle that we were talking about before, because this growth has been triggered on the inside, but old patterns and programming might be kind of causing them to resist these changes. So it's like they want to welcome in these changes and they want to fight against them at the same time. They want to be defensive at the same time. I'm curious to grab another oracle card for you. Try not to blow your candles out. I want to join this energy together and just get a message about the space between what's going on a surface level, what's going on with this person's higher self. And again, this is from the perspective of their higher self. So to me, it's a lot more clear a lot of the time. Yeah, we have Stuck in the Mud. This is card 24. Yeah, I just kind of want to channel a little bit from this person because there's a lot going on here. There is this feeling of being stuck, of being caught between. I feel like this person, like their higher self would tell you, there is growth here, there's evolution here, there is the desire to tap into all of these energy centers, to tap into this emotional place. And there's also this feeling of being stuck in the mud, in the murky waters, in the gunk of everything that has transpired thus far. And I feel like that's really important, because when we look at this chakra system, when we start at the root, we're starting at things that happened in our past. We're starting at things that have given us that foundation, things that have to do with our foundational beliefs and things that were ingrained in us from an early age, different experiences we've had throughout our life. So it's like, what their higher self is saying is there's a lot that has gone on in this person's past. There's a lot that's gone in their childhood, even things that have happened in their adult life for some of you that can trigger them, that can bring up these old wounds, that can challenge them. And they're in this push and pull place. They're in this in-between place, between the old them and the new them, the new them that wants to experience all of this, that wants to tap into all of this, and the old them that just wants to remain protected. And sometimes it really does. It just feels like they're stuck in the mud with this. It just feels like they're not getting anywhere. The image of quicksand is coming to mind right now. It might feel that sometimes these old wounds, these old patterns are almost trying to suck them underground. And I think from the perspective of their higher self, they are fighting the battle to not get sucked down by all of this, to not get sucked down by the past, to not get sucked down by their triggers and by their fears. But it is hard for them sometimes. It's hard. This is card 42. So this is the energy of 6. The energy of 6 is that of stability. So they are looking for a stable place. They're looking for something to ground onto, something to pull them out of that quicksand type of feeling, something to help them gain more momentum. Let's look at some tarot. Let's see what's going on. Okay. I I cut the deck and I'm having the hardest time keeping this card together with the rest of the deck. The world card wants to pop out. The world is about completing cycles, even reaching our goals, learning lessons, and moving on into the next phase. And I feel like that is such a central and key theme that we're talking about here. This person's trying to close out some cycles here. So I don't think that's by coincidence. I think that's a card that we need out here on the table. Messages from their higher self, please. What their higher self tell number 1? What their higher self tell number 1? Nine of Pentacles. Wish come true. I feel like this person's higher self, one of the main messages I'm seeing here is this is really, this is a goal for them. We have the 10 of Cups at the bottom of the deck right now. So we're talking about wishes fulfilled. We're talking about completion of cycles. We're talking about our highest dreams and aspirations becoming a reality. And I feel like from the perspective of this person's higher self, they know that this growth and this period of uncomfortability that they're going through is necessary for their evolution. It's necessary for them to reach their goals, reach their dreams, become the person that they want to be. Messages from their higher self, please. What would their higher self tell number 1? We have the Sun. Let's get a couple more cards. What would their higher self tell number 1? 6 of Cups. This is beautiful energy. One more card for number 1, please. What would their higher self tell number 1? One more card, really? Really? Let's see. 7 of Pentacles, Queen of Cups, King of Pentacles. I'm going to leave these together. And we will look at all of that. Bottom of the deck, we have the Moon. Yeah. I feel like there's a lot that's hidden. So this person's higher self is coming through to talk about all that's been hidden from them. This is kind of a message of, especially if you feel that this person can sometimes leave you in the dark or leaves you guessing about what's going on, how they're feeling, how this connection is evolving. This is really making me feel, and especially if I look back at this Panther energy with all that darkness out there, that's really Moon energy. It's very mysterious energy. It's very elusive energy. It's in some ways undefined. And I feel like this person is starting to see, and their higher self is drawing attention to the fact that they're starting to see these things and awaken to some of these things themselves, but that this has been a process. This has been a process in understanding their emotions and understanding where they are in this connection. And a lot of this has been hidden from them as well. A lot of this is stuff that they didn't realize. They didn't know that they were protecting themselves. They didn't know that they were fighting against this. They didn't know that this heart-centered energy was trying to come out of them, and they were fighting it. They were holding it back. They've not fully realized that. Their higher self is fully aware of that, and I feel like they're being guided to really explore more of this and to not fight against this emotional connection that wants to come through for them. So when we look at these cards, like I'm seeing a growth journey. I'm seeing an evolution. I'm seeing this person moving on to a new phase and completing a cycle. And that's what their higher self is urging them to do. That's what their higher self is pointing toward here. And this is all about finding happiness and finding fulfillment. I feel like what their higher self can see that they can't see is that blocking these emotions, blocking their feelings, being stuck, because in some cases being stuck is a huge theme for this person. Being stuck in situations or scenarios that's not bringing them joy or satisfaction is actually keeping them from making this evolutionary journey that their soul is on. It has held them back, and it's held the sunshine, it's held the joy out of their life. So from a higher perspective, they can see that they're blocking a lot of joy from their own life here. They're blocking a lot of connection and a lot of possibility for their own life. And what awaits them on the other side is this very beautiful energy, the Six of Cups energy, this Nine of Pentacles energy. This is energy of connection, of stability. We were talking about the number 6 here. So interesting that this card came out. This is the energy of stability. It's the energy of the sweetest connection is how I would put it. It's the sweetest connection. And just kind of this feeling of having the wishes fulfilled. Now, when we look at the Seven of Pentacles energy, and I'm gonna read these all together because they came out all together. I feel like this is something that has been waited on. This is a connection that for a lot of you, you've been waiting on, and their higher self is kind of pointing to the fact that they've been waiting for this too. They've been waiting for this evolution. They've been waiting for, honestly, I feel like it's so interesting to channel messages from the higher self because I feel like a lot of truth comes out. I feel like this person has been waiting for this feeling of emotion to either start feeling comfortable or to go away completely. And there is this part of them that has wished that it would go away completely. That this kind of light in the eyes of the panther, this green energy that's coming through, this heart-centered energy, there have been times that they wish that they could push this back inside and lock it up in a box so tightly that it could never come out. And it's like there's a part of them that thought that that would make them happier, to not have to deal with this, to not have to be in this moon energy, to not have to uncover some of these uncomfortable emotions. But it's like, from a higher perspective, they know that that's not actually going to get them there. So there is this feeling of waiting, of putting in work bit by bit, of maybe not being satisfied with the outcome, because the Seven of Pentacles can be that way sometimes. And I think sometimes this person hasn't been satisfied with the fact that these emotions are stirring inside of them in the first place. They haven't been satisfied with their attempts to even shove them away. And interesting, we have the Queen of Cups, the King of Pentacles here. So definitely counterpart energy. There might be kind of a situation here where we're dealing with an earth sign and a water sign. We also had strong fire sign energy here as well. We have Leo energy here. We have Libra energy here. Yeah. I feel like this is definitely a counterpart energy here. And I feel like your person's higher self is pointing to almost like you as being, oh, how can I put this? Being the emotional trailblazer in this connection, being the one who's more in touch with your emotions. And it's like, there's a part of them that is envious of this. There's a part of them that wants to be able to tap into this. They want to be able to fully embrace this emotional feeling inside of them. I love that the King of Pentacles in this deck is just surrounded by all of this green, because it's bringing me right back to that heart-centered energy. This is like, it's almost like they're saying, that's the cloak, the clothing, the cape I wish I could put on. I wish I could wear that emotional cloak. I wish I could bathe in that emotion that you are so easily able to tap into. And I feel like it's interesting because even if you're not feeling like all of the emotional aspects of this connection are easy for you to navigate, there might be a lot of hurt in this connection. There might be a lot of feelings going on here, and it might not feel easy for you to navigate all the time. But I feel like this person sees you as somebody who can, and sees you as somebody who they wish they could be. They wish that they could express themselves the way that they do, the way that you do, or be as ready for this connection as you are. They wish they could tap into that happiness. They wish they could move on to the next the next phase and grow and evolve the way that they see you doing. So there's this part of them that is an admiration of your ability to be in touch with your emotions, to grow and evolve as you need to. And they feel a little bit like they're held back in this way. Like they aren't making this progress as fast as they should. And again, sometimes like they don't want to make the progress at all. So very interesting energy there with that, because I do feel like this person is sort of at times like, I don't want to go on this journey. I don't want to have to grow in this way. I want to stay safe and cozy where I am. But then at the same time, it's like, I'm stuck. I'm stuck here. And almost this feeling of maybe choosing to be at times, worrying that they are choosing to be stuck in that place. So let's see. I want to get some messages from this Messengers of the Heart deck and see what other channeled messages we can get from this person's higher self. I feel like it's important to note that this portion of the reading is from this person's higher self. So they might be bringing out some of the conscious thoughts that your person has. And we're going to look at that. Like, is this more the panther energy or is this stingray energy? Is this the higher self's thought or is this the surface level thought? And we'll see what comes out. So messages from number one's person's higher self. What do we have here? We have discovery. So they saw or heard something that turned their sense of reality upside down, left them feeling powerless and trapped. Isn't that the same energy? That's that stuck in the mud energy. This connection has caused this person to do a lot of self-discovery, to learn a lot about themselves. And as I think we all know, that self-discovery isn't always fun. I feel like what happens is sometimes this person wants to like short circuit the system. Sometimes they want to skip that part because it isn't fun. And like this card says, it's something that turned their sense of reality upside down. I feel like this person could have gone on and on without realizing that they weren't fully tapped in, that they weren't fully aware of their emotions, that they couldn't fully access all of their emotions, that fear was holding them back. It's like they could have just continued that way. And sometimes they wish that they had continued that way because they want to avoid doing the work. They want to avoid this discovery. They want to avoid that feeling of their world being turned upside down. You have the power couple card here. They see that both of you have an equal exchange of power, which can make you unstoppable as a couple. I think this person, wow, it's like they might not even want to admit it. And that fierce side of them, that panther side of them, I think loves that about the connection that they have with you. I think they love that. They love the potential of this connection. They love that power couple energy. We have lack of faith here. Yeah. I feel like this discovery, this path of discovery that they're going on, it challenges their faith. There's a part of them that worries that they will never, they'll never evolve in the way that they need to. They'll never be able to embrace this emotional side of them the way they need to. We have missing you. Their life feels empty without you. For those of you who are in connection, in separation in this connection, this person is missing you. Unseen factors. There's more to this love story, though you cannot see it now. There's so much more to unfold. I feel like that message sometimes can be a little bit ominous, and in this case it's very exciting because that energy of the world, this world card that wouldn't stay in the deck, that's what that energy is. It's about something that's going to unfold, something that is yet to come, some sort of progress that hasn't come yet. And it's kind of exciting in a way. There's also a lot going on that I feel like this person, it's even unseen to this person. It's that moon energy again that was at the bottom of the deck. Do I still? Yeah. That moon energy there, that's unseen factors. These are things that are a mystery even to this person. Growth and triggers and things that are a mystery even to this person. Tapping into all of this energy here has been a mysterious journey for them. It has been a journey in uncovering. I'm going to pull a couple of channeled messages from my homemade deck. I'm in the process of finding myself is what just came through. Let's get another message. I dream about marrying you someday. This person wants to deepen this connection. I was picking up on that with that 9 of Pentacles, that 6 of Cups energy. This is someone who wants to deepen this connection, someone who wants to, they see this connection as a wish fulfilled in some way. So this energy of power couple, that kind of goes into that. It's like they see this as this beautiful connection that, that could unfold for them, that has so much potential, that would take them to this next level, to this higher level, but they are in the process of finding themselves, and their higher self sees all of that. It sees all of their triggers. It sees all their stumbling blocks. And I feel like this person is being guided to recognize more of that on a surface level. Let's turn over your initial card and see what's going on here. We're going to take this as advice about what you can do or how you should view this connection. So we have the South Node. This is don't let your past hold you back. I feel like there's a couple of messages coming through with that card. I really feel like this is a message for both you and this person. I feel like this person's struggle right now and their main growth is in terms of not letting these past things hold them back, not letting fear hold them back, not letting events that have taken place in their life, ways that they've been hurt, ways that they felt they needed to protect themselves, hold them back from experiencing this deep connection. I also feel like there is a message for you in here, and this is kind of I feel like this is coming through as a message from your person's higher self, not to let the past of this connection hold you back. I also feel that there's this protective energy coming from this person that's very sweet, that is kind of saying, don't let anything that has transpired in this connection hold you back from being that emotional being that you are, from experiencing and exploring. Don't put your life on hold because of this connection, and also don't put this connection on hold because of what has happened in the past. So if there is a part of you that might not be able to let go of some things, might not be able to move past what has happened, or the journey that you've been on with this person, there is kind of this message of don't let what has happened before hold this back, because there are changes happening, unseen factors. There's unseen changes happening here. There's this energy of the world, this new cycle happening here, and to let old patterns and old events hold back this transition, it's kind of like coming through as that would be a shame to kind of let that happen. And I feel like that's on both ends there. So take that as it resonates. There is the need for both of you to not let anything that has happened in the past hold back this connection or hold back the progress that you're going to make in your life and in your personal evolution. So I want to pull some initials, I have kind of a bowl of a lot of different things. So we're just going to see what messages come through. I find a lot of times when I'm channeling the energy of the higher self, we get a lot of like symbols, we get a lot of symbology, we get a lot of hints toward things. So this might mean something to you. These messages might not resonate, but we're going to see what comes through. We will see what we get here. So we have the letter T. We have February. This can be referencing a birthday. This can be referencing a time you met this person or a special time you shared with this person. Sometimes this can even give us an indication of when the next major event in this connection will unfold. We have the letter S. Again, this can be referencing initials, locations, timing of things. So this could be representing a month. This could be representative of September. I say that as I pull out September. So for some of you, September might be relevant in this connection. For some of you, you may have reconnected with this person very recently or just met this person not too long ago. And I feel like maybe some of these emotional triggers came out very early on in your connection. This is coming through this way because I'm filming this video in October. So for some of you, this could have literally been last month that you either met this person or that some major event in your connection took place. And this can be, you could be watching this video anytime. So if you're not watching this video in October, it could be that you met this person very recently or that some major event unfolded very recently. We also have Sagittarius here. A lot of fire sign was showing up in your chart, so that might be relevant. We have the letter F. We have the number 8. Did I have one fall? Yes. And we have Leo. 8 Leo, August. That might be referencing a time frame or a birthday for some of you if you're dealing with a Leo. I'm going to pull a couple more for you. So we have the letter P. There's a message coming through. We have Gemini. We have the number 5. Again, this might be a reference to June. Gemini energy, the number 5, and for some of you that can have a different meaning. When this P came out, and for some reason I felt called to put it up there, and the message that's coming through is PS. So that's my indication. I'm also kind of getting like, psst, like when you make that sound to get somebody's attention, and it's the same energy. I'm getting kind of this message of this person has more to say, or there was something left unsaid. There was like, this could literally be a letter or a message that they sent you. There was something that they want to add to it. There's something that they have realized, and there's like this little like PS, this information. So there's something that this person wants to say to you. There's more that needs to be revealed here. And I feel like with that unseen factors and this transitional energy that I'm getting from this person's higher self, I feel like there is more. There's more to be revealed here. For those of you who thought this connection was completely over, I don't think it is. I think that there's a lot that you don't know right now. There's a lot that your person doesn't know. There's a lot that they're trying to figure out in terms of tapping into this higher spiritual level, tapping into the energy of their higher self and receiving direction. And it's like they're starting to see that. They're starting to see their own patterns of resistance here, and their higher self is urging them and pushing them to do that. I feel like there is more to unfold, especially with the 7 of Pentacles energy. That's more to come. That's waiting on some sort of harvest. If this is a connection where you feel like you put in work and you didn't receive the payoff, there's more to come. There's more information, and I feel like for a lot of you, there's information you don't have. There's things you've been left in the dark about. So I think I'm going to leave it there, number 1. Yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with me, for letting me read your cards and channel this energy. It is interesting channeling the energy of the higher self. It's a little different. It comes through a little bit different. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope you received some valuable messages and information. If that is the case, don't forget to like the video, leave me a comment down below, and hit subscribe if you feel like it. And hopefully I'll see you again in another reading really soon. Bye. Hi, number 2. If you were drawn to the pearl necklace, this is going to be your reading. We are going to be getting channeled messages from your person's higher self. So to begin with, I do want to talk a little bit about the necklace that you were drawn to, because pearls are such a beautiful symbol of faith and of dedication. And I feel like that's really important to note. Pearls take a long time to form, to cultivate, and I really do always feel like there's an element of surprise when it comes to pearls as well. There's kind of the energy that it is something that's been cultivated over time, and that there's been a lot of care put into this, but it's still unexpected. There's still a surprise. It's still a joy. It's like a gift. It's like a special gift. A pearl is like a special gift, and it does kind of hold this this water energy with it as well. As the saying goes, because this is always something that comes to mind, pearls of wisdom. So I do want to note that pearls are a symbol of and a representation of inner wisdom and the wisdom that we're cultivating within ourselves. Even the amount of time that it takes to cultivate that wisdom, because there is time and dedication, like we were talking about in the formation of a pearl. So I feel like this person's higher self is displaying a lot of wisdom and a lot of understanding when it comes to this connection already, which is helpful because we're channeling messages from this person's higher self. So hopefully we can get some helpful nuggets here. There's a lot of wisdom and understanding. And I also feel like part of this person, I feel that this person's higher self, like I'm already channeling this energy. There is a feeling that their higher self is coming through to let you know that there's some amount of faith. There's some amount of promise that they're still holding on to when it comes to this connection. So they have not lost faith. And in some ways, they might not have even stopped working on it. And for some of you, that's important to know right off, because you might be in a situation where you feel like this person may have given up. You feel like this person's not putting in the work, or they're not saying the right things, or not doing the right things. Things might not be working out, and you wonder if they are in it for the long haul. I feel like their higher self is saying yes. We're going to dig into that a little bit more, because we don't know how this person's behaving on a surface level. So we're going to look at that. I am going to break with tradition and do something I never do. And I'm not flipping this card over. I shouldn't say never. I rarely do it. I rarely leave this card a mystery, but I'm going to leave this card a mystery right now. I am going to flip this card later on in your reading. We're going to use this as a little bit of advice or guidance when it comes to this connection, or some sort of insight. We'll see how the message comes through, but we're not going to look at it. Suspense. I'm all about the suspense. Let's begin with some animal spirit messages. And the first thing I want to look at is how this person is behaving on a surface level, or how this person comes through on a surface level. I find this so interesting to look at through the perspective of their higher self, because their higher self can really see them for who they are, for what they're doing, for what their patterns are, and things like that, that on a surface level sometimes we cannot see in ourselves. So we're going to look at how this person presents on a surface level from the perspective of their higher self. Let's look at that surface level energy, and then we're going to look at the energy of the higher self. So we have the Crow. Very interesting. Very interesting. There's something like really magical and connected about Crow energy. This is the energy that's representing the unseen, representing the unknown. In a lot of ways, it represents something mysterious. This person might present as somebody who is very creative, even if they're not artistic per se. It's like they might be extremely imaginative, is how this is coming through. Or they have a lot of vision. They even maybe have clear vision, which to me, especially with this crow energy, is a reference to clairvoyance. So this could be somebody who is spiritually and psychically gifted. Maybe even someone who's not aware of that. I feel like what their higher self is pointing to here, this is actually very interesting. Kind of trippy as I'm delving into this, this energy. Their higher self is showing them as somebody who is extremely connected, someone who's very intuitive, someone who might be very spiritually gifted, very artistic, and some of this stuff might not be something that's known to them. It might not be something that they've fully leaned into, but this also, because this is surface level energy, can be what you see on the surface of this person. So this could be somebody who is very, very spiritual or very esoteric, and they like to have like deep conversations, but this could also be someone that isn't really aware of all of this, and might not know how to manage all of this, is how it's coming through. For some of you, I feel like this person might have shared a vision with you, as we're talking about this clear vision that this person has. So this is surface level energy. I feel like for some of you, this is something the two of you interacted on. This is a shared vision between the two of you, something that you agreed on, something that you both saw the potential in, and kind of a vision for where this connection was going. So it is interesting that that's showing up on a surface level. This could literally be something that the two of you discussed and planned, because it is on that level. And there's a message coming through about something being within your grasp. Okay. I was talking to number one about this. Channeling the energy of the higher self is a little bit, I won't say that it's challenging, but there is a lot to decipher, because what's interesting about this is the higher self can see things from a higher, literally a higher perspective. They can see all of the triggers, they can see all of the things, and to hear the information coming from the higher self, it's like it's more true, but there are layers to it. There's more layers to it, because they can see how your person might be acting or behaving that isn't in alignment with their highest self. So I feel like your person's higher self is talking about, on a surface level, this person's thinking a lot about something that was within their grasp, something that they might have let slip away. So if this is about a plan that you had with this person, or it's coming through as a near miss, and I don't really know how that relates to you, but this could be a connection that almost went somewhere and it never really could get going. Something that there was a lot of potential in, something where there was a definite plan. It was right there. It was for the taking. And I feel like on a surface level, it's like this person knows that, and they might kick themselves for that. They might beat themselves up about that. They might often go back to the thoughts of this thing that they were so close to having, or this thing that they did have within their grasp, and then it slipped away. A vision. I feel like even for those of you where this connection is firmly intact, there might be some sort of vision that they feel slipped away from this. Some plan that you had that they just, it's like, we didn't execute that, or I didn't do what it takes to execute on that plan. Very interesting. This is also coming through as worry that something may have slipped away. So part of them is still holding on to that vision. I'm really wondering if for some of you, they've told you that they're still holding on to this vision. Yes, with that pearl energy. There's something here for you guys about faith, about the time that it takes to really cultivate something, and that they have not lost faith here. They're still holding on to that. They're still holding on to hope. We can look at this crow, and this little ball of energy here that the crow is holding on to. It can represent so many things. It can represent like the world. It can represent a vision. It can represent a spark of creativity. And this is still within this crow's grasp. But you see, it's not exactly what the crow's focusing on. It's just something that they're still holding on to. So this might be that this person has had to turn their attention away from the connection for a period of time, or life circumstances have pulled their attention away. And it might look on the surface that they aren't engaged, but that's not the case. They're still holding on to something. Very, very interesting here. Yeah, I feel like there's spiritual gifts at play here that this person isn't aware of that keeps coming up. Their higher self is drawing attention toward that, and that might be something that they're working on. And I feel like this person, what's interesting about this is, to look at a surface level and to have this much awareness is very different than what I expected. So their higher self is actually saying that their 3D self is very much aware. They are very aware of how this connection has affected them, how it has inspired them, the depth of the connection. I feel like it's about the strength of this connection too. It's like they're very aware, although it was shocking, although it was surprising, although it was maybe a little bit out of place, it's not lost on them what's happening here. So there is kind of this feeling of mystery that's connected to the crow. But there's also, with the crow energy, this sense of knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt. Knowing the truth and feeling the truth about something. And I feel like that's relevant in this connection. Things may be a mystery. They may still be figuring things out, but there's so much connectedness here. There's so much wisdom. There's so much intuition here, at a surface level with this person, that it's like they're way more tapped in than you might realize, or this is something that you know about them because it's hard to ignore. It's hard to escape, but the depth of this connection has not been lost on them. There is a mysterious energy. I feel like this mysterious energy can represent dynamics on both sides of this connection. So this can mean that there could be a lot of unanswered questions here. And I feel like these unanswered questions are things that this person is aware of, things that they're holding on to, things that they are maybe even sometimes holding on to the answer of, not communicating, not releasing that answer. And an awakening of spiritual gifts and kind of like a deeper spiritual connection as a result of this relationship. These are things that are coming through on a surface level. Very interesting. I would have to say that this person is deeply, deeply aware of the effect this connection has had on them. Even if they don't fully understand it, because I feel like that's where the mystery is. They might not fully understand how this connection has affected them this way, or how this could even be possible. But there's definitely the sense that they know They're aware. They are not oblivious to this. I want to get the energy of the higher self. Interesting, because I would expect that crow energy to be higher self energy. This person's super tapped in. We have the whale. So we're dealing with air energy here and water energy. The whale is a huge indication of desire to delve deeper, especially when this comes to our emotions, because this is a water sign energy. So Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio energy here. And then we had air with the crow. So Aquarius, Gemini, Libra energy with that. This person's higher self is, I almost want to say, encouraging them to look deeper into the emotions that this connection has triggered in them. And it's interesting because I feel like that might be a common thread here. I saw energy like that in reading 1. But what's different here is I feel like the awareness on a surface level for this person is so much more intense. So then there is this urge or this push to really look at the emotions that were triggered. So this person might tend to be pretty analytical on the surface. We're dealing with this air sign energy. They might be kind of factual about a lot of things. They might tend to want to make sense of things or to rationalize things. And I feel like they could have even tried to avoid the things that they feel a little uncomfortable with, or the things that they don't fully understand. It's just so interesting because I feel like there is a mystery here. I feel like their higher self is pointing to the fact that their 3D self understands this connection, understands the depth of this connection, and at the same time doesn't really understand why or how, hasn't made sense of all of that, but can't deny it at the same time. This is making me think of, like, if someone, let's say that someone saw a ghost or had some sort of spiritual experience that they literally could not deny. Their senses would not allow them to deny it. It's like, I saw that and I can't unsee it. I saw that over there. I don't understand how that's possible. I don't understand how I was able to see that, how I was able to pick up on that, but I did. And it's like, I feel like that's how this person is feeling. That's what their higher self is kind of referencing here. This undeniability, and at the same time, this complete lack of understanding about how this is so undeniably true for them. Very interesting energy. This person, I have to say that this is something that I'm actually, as I'm looking at this, I'm kind of swimming around in this. I'm finding this to be very admirable energy here. So even if your person doesn't fully understand what has been awakened in them as a result of this connection, even if there's feelings kind of swirling around inside of them that they can't fully classify, because I feel like this is somebody who wants to classify things. They want to make sense of things, and they also accept at the same time what they don't understand right now. So it's like they're not really pushing the mystery of this completely away. I kind of see them holding on to this little nugget of wisdom, or holding on to this idea, holding on to this feeling that's been triggered in them, or holding on to something that's been shown to them until they can understand it better. Because it's like, even if they don't fully understand it, they do understand that there's significance to what they've experienced in this connection. This person's very aware. Maybe, I feel like for a lot of you, they are way more aware than they let on sometimes. And if this is somebody who can remain kind of a shrouded mystery, because that's how they're coming through, there's some part of them that's mysterious, some part of them that isn't fully understood by you. And that could be that you just don't have all the facts. This could be somebody that maybe you don't know every little detail about, but I'm kind of losing my train of thought here, because there's so many messages and there's so much to try to understand with this. I just feel like even the parts of this that are mysterious to them, the significance is not. And the desire to understand more and almost the dedication to do that is there. Yeah, this person, I think I know where I was going with that. I think it's that they might not seem like they're as aware as they are for some of you, but really there's a lot going on beneath the surface. And I feel like this person's higher self is kind of playing the role of pushing them to take that deep dive into understanding this, which, because this is whale energy and this is water energy, a lot of that has to do with emotions. So understanding the emotions behind this. Both the whale and the crow represent deep and profound wisdom. And we were talking about that with the pearl. It's so weird. Pearls of wisdom. So these are both representations of wisdom, and of psychic abilities. Both of these animals represent psychic abilities. So there's a lot going on here in terms of realization that's happening both on a surface level and in those higher, more evolved realms that we're referring to as the higher self in this reading. So there's a lot going on there. And what's interesting to me is this isn't just happening on the level of the higher self. This is actual 3D like work realizations and questioning and seeing, like this person sees. This person is seeing what's here. There's also a message coming through for some of you. There might be a musical tie to this connection. There might be a musical tie. This person's higher self is talking about them receiving on a surface level guidance about this relationship through song lyrics, maybe through poetry. And this could be either them connecting with music or poetry that they that they hear, that they consume. But this could also be about kind of a purging of emotion for this person. So this might be that they release their emotion or they sift through their emotions by writing poetry or by writing music. This could even have to do with you for some of you. This could be about a song that you wrote that's helping them to connect or helping them to understand. So that's a message for some of you. The most important thing I'm seeing here with this whale energy is that it represents the desire to heal and to stabilize emotions. And that's also the energy of like not being afraid to conquer deep emotional issues. So this person's higher self is really focused on uncovering and understanding what's changing on an emotional level. But honestly, that's happening on a surface level for this person too, which I find really interesting because it's just not what I expected to see. I'm going to kind of connect this energy together to see what's going on. What is going on between this energy of the higher self and of the 3D self? I feel like saying again and just reiterating because it's so interesting. This person, I feel like their higher self is merging with their 3D self on a really deep level here, and like more than what I have seen before. So we have Talisman. We have card 49. Okay. Wow. This talisman energy is again about wisdom. It's about kind of having the wisdom to allow the lessons that you've learned to guide you and to inform your decisions so that you don't kind of end up in the same place or end up falling into the same traps just over and over and over again. It's kind of that, like, their higher self is like over and over and over again. Like, that's a very important note. So this could be patterns that this person has repeated a lot throughout their life. That it's like they're in the process of uncovering these patterns and figuring out where to go from here and how to avoid these traps. So this card tells us that we have the wisdom and the experience to make the right choice, to make a better choice. One that aligns with our highest good. I feel like that's very, very relevant here, talking about this crow energy being on the surface level. This person is very wise on a surface level. They don't necessarily have to rely on their like higher self all like completely in order to have a higher perspective. They kind of come with this energy on their own. They're very reflective and they have tapped into a lot of wisdom and knowledge. So I feel like they are in the process of integrating the lessons that they've learned and trying to figure out how to not make the same mistakes again. And I do feel kind of this reserved energy and this, like, we were talking about the pearl taking time to cultivate and it being a little bit of a surprise. It's like this person's taking the time that is needed for them to fully make sense of all of this, for them to fully analyze the situation there's that analytical energy again, to fully analyze the situation and to figure out, where are the traps? Where have I made the same mistake before? What's interesting about talisman energy is, I feel like, this is going back to like years and years ago, but talismans for me have always represented more of something that's going to draw something towards you. I think a lot of times people associate talismans with protection, and for me that's more of an amulet energy. So I do feel like there's a message here that maybe only I can understand, but I can decipher it for you, because this references something that I learned a long time ago, or something that kind of like formed a foundational basis for me. So a talisman always, to me, is more representative of something that we want to maybe wear or hold with us, that's going to draw the energy toward us that we want. And this is very indicative of what's going on with this person, because this person is wanting to draw more of what they want into their life, wanting to take the time to cultivate more of what they want, and figure out where they're holding themselves back from experiencing that. So just taking that time and using that wisdom, using that experience to figure out how to move forward. Let's get some tarot and see what's going on. Get some messages from your person's higher self. So channeled messages from number 2's person's higher self. That's a mouthful. Messages from number 2's person's higher self, please. Wow, okay. And the cards spun around a few times. We have the 6 of Pentacles. Yeah. What else? I feel like with the 6 of Pentacles, we're always evaluating, what are we giving? What are we receiving? And I just feel like that's that same energy. That's wisdom there. Sometimes we use that energy to figure out what we're giving and receiving within relationships, but it's also just a very wise thing to do when looking at your life in general. Like, what am I giving to this? What am I getting in return? What energy am I putting in, and what results has it gotten me in the past? That's part of that understanding and using your wisdom, using that knowledge, using your experience to inform your decisions going forward. What other messages do we have for number 2? Channeled messages from their person's higher self, please. Channeled messages from their person's higher self, please. We have the Moon. This card showed up as bottom of the deck energy in reading 1. Very, very similar to Crow energy. The Moon represents a lot to be discovered. So a lot of wisdom beneath the surface here, a lot to be uncovered. Sometimes things that we didn't want to look at, things we don't want to deal with, we don't want to face. So you have the Strength card come out, the Ace of Swords. Wow. I feel like this person is tapping into a lot of, I feel like their higher power. It's that feeling I was having before of, it's almost like they're merging with their higher self in some way. So they're becoming more tapped in, more tuned in, more intuitive, receiving more messages, uncovering more information about how they're moving through life, how they're operating in life, what they're drawing toward them, what they've been giving in this relationship. So it's like their higher self is kind of questioning, was I giving what I was supposed to? Was I falling into my same old traps? Was I letting fear lead the way? Was I letting these things that are unknown to me, or things I wished to remain unknown to me, was I letting that run the show? And how do I tap into this inner strength, this inner will to create the results that I want in my life? Ace of Swords energy, new ideas, mental clarity. I feel like this Crow is all about mental clarity, but for this person, their higher self is drawing attention to the fact that they're gaining clarity on a spiritual level especially. And some of this does have to do with their analytical side, or they're running it through their analytical perspective, this spiritual knowledge that they're gaining. But there's also kind of this feeling of like they're incorporating this more spiritual side of them. They're incorporating this knowledge or these intuitive hits that they're getting about things. Because I think for a lot of you, this person is getting a lot of messages. They're receiving a lot of intuitive messages, and it's almost like they're collecting these messages to figure out how to assemble this situation or this life or their action plan, how to assemble all of this. I feel like their higher self is saying that they want to move from a very informed place. They want to move from a very wise place. They want to make wise decisions now. And they're wondering, have they? Have they in the past? Has what they've done been wise? Has it been conducive to whatever it is that they want to create here? Have they been looking where they should have been looking? I'm going to look at the bottom of the deck. Queen of Cups. I really feel like, and I really think that card came out in reading 1 too. It's so interesting. There's this emotional tie. There's this desire to connect with this emotional being here and to use this more emotional energy. So I do think that you are being represented as this Queen of Cups in this reading here. And there's kind of this desire to evaluate, to look at this dream or this vision that they're holding on to in relation to this Queen of Cups. But also in this context, I'm feeling like this Queen of Cups is something that they're aspiring to as well. This emotional understanding and this emotional availability is something that they're aspiring to. 5 of Swords underneath that. Yes, the 5 of Swords underneath that Queen of Cups. The 5 of Swords can talk a lot about conflict. It can talk a lot about being consumed with the ego. I think this is starting to make even more sense to me. I think the reason that this person's surface level energy is so deep, it's this crow energy, and there's a lot of depth to that. I feel like the reason that it's coming through that way is because this is about dropping the ego here. 6 of Swords energy. This is about dropping the ego, the world under that. A lot of similar energies as reading 1. This transitional energy, this moving on to a new phase. 6 of Swords is about moving on from something. Even in this card, there's the moon here in the background. So this is really pointing to the emotional issues that were holding them back. The things that they were afraid to look at. The things that scared them. The things that triggered them. And there's this feeling of walking away from that, walking away and kind of evaluating, what am I left with if I leave that behind? Because there's this part of me that's been so reliant on that, that's been so reliant on my story, on my experiences, on my hurt, my pain, on my patterns, on my habits. And it's like, if I leave all of that behind, what do I have left? Did I win? Did I lose? And it's like, I feel like their higher self is saying that walking away from a lot of this stuff, walking away from these patterns of thought is beneficial here. And it's what has them in this very wisdom hungry energy, this energy of really wanting to understand things. And this is definitely coming through on an emotional level, which has been a theme here in these readings. Wanting to understand this emotional energy, wanting to walk away from what's not working anymore, wanting to take those lessons with them too. This the 6 of Swords energy is always about, like, let's bring along what we learned, but let's move forward in a different direction. Those swords represent the knowledge that we have, represent the experiences, the lessons we've learned. And that's all about wisdom. This is a boat full of wisdom here with the 6 of Swords. And I'm getting almost the same energy with the 5 of Swords too. It's like, maybe these situations didn't work out for me in the past, but that doesn't mean I can't move forward. Let me gather what I can. Let me gather the experience. Let me gather the knowledge. Let me think about this a little bit and then figure out how I'm going to be moving forward and what I'm going to be drawing into my life and how I'm going to be tapping into these emotions. So that's what's happening on a higher level. This is what your person's higher self is dealing with, is exploring how to use these experiences to cultivate more of what they want in their life. How to use that knowledge, how to use that wisdom. Let's see, what do I want to do now? We can get some more, let's get some channeled messages from this Messengers of the Heart. Is this Messengers of the Heart? Or... yeah, Messengers of the Heart deck. Channeled messages from number 2's person's higher self. Such a mouthful. Let's see. Messages from their higher self, please. Wow, we got a message right away with that. Haunted. Let me just pause for a minute, because their higher self, or their guides, they were showing me the image of the ghost. I've seen this. I can't unsee it. I can't explain it, but I did see it, and I'm not denying it. That energy, and that's exactly what we have here. That energy of seeing this thing. You might not be able to fully understand, fully grasp it. Like, you literally cannot reach out and grasp this this spirit that's being shown here, but it is something that is undeniably right in front of your face. So this card actually says, their vivid dreams haunt them. They dream of how they broke your heart and you moving on with someone else. So if this is something that has ended, this person's haunted by their memories of this. They're haunted by, again, we're talking about the lessons that this person could have learned. They're trying to figure out how to learn what they needed to learn from this and how to move forward with those lessons. I do feel like there's this element of them being haunted. Can't forget, still holding on. That's been a recurring theme throughout this reading. They're still holding on to something. They're still holding on to the dream, to the hope. Separation, yeah. So for a lot of you, this is a connection that's in separation, and this card says that they're focusing on their own personal journey and choosing not to focus on love because there's nothing to give. Yeah, I was picking up on that energy with the crow. There's this energy of wanting to kind of like hold back, wanting to understand things more, wanting to search for that wisdom. We have guarded, so they're still guarded. They're trapped behind their own emotional defenses. There's this hunger for information. I feel like pulling some more messages for you. Let's see. I feel like this, like with the whale energy, this desire for them to get deeper into this, their emotions, and to understand these patterns, understand what's been going on. It does have them a little guarded, and I feel like that's why their higher self wants to explore. Because once they understand these things a little bit more, once they see why they've been feeling like this, they can really, they can just tap into and live with that energy a little bit more. Sorry about that little explosion of cards. Let's see what we have. I'm not going to take these that didn't flip. It's actually just way too many cards. Let me see if I can get one message for you, because it's just, that's unclear. See if I can just get one. And if not, then I guess that was all the messages. So let's see. Channel messages from number 2's person's higher self, please. Channel messages. Wow. Okay. When your cards come out, they really come out. So let's see what we have. We have Beauty and Grace, which actually did come out. This card was in that whole pile of cards. So I guess this was the card that was meant to come out. They find you extremely beautiful, but your beauty intimidates them, and they think someone else is more deserving. Wow. That's part of diving deeper into those emotional issues, because that's an emotional issue there. That's something that I think they want to figure out a little bit more. Why do they feel like that? Why do they feel that they aren't deserving of this love, of your beauty, of this beautiful connection? Why do they feel that way? And at the same time, I think this is why it's important that there's a little bit, there's that hope, there's that vision that they're still holding on to. So I can see where there's a little bit of conflict here. And this is something that like their higher self is fully aware of. There's a conflict because they feel undeserving of this connection. And at the same time, they can't let it go. They can't really understand it, but they won't deny it either. I never meant to hurt you. We did have separation too. So some of you might be in separation and this person may have done something to hurt you. I feel like for some of you that message is maybe the fact that you are separated from this person, or the fact that this person pulled back is what they're referring to there. They don't mean to cause you any pain or any hurt by pulling back and trying to understand themselves. And they understand that that might be confusing for you and it might be hurtful for you, but at the same time, they want to understand. They want this wisdom. They want to be able to file away all of this information and use it for, like, be able to tap into this place of wisdom to make their decisions here. I'm in analysis paralysis over this connection. We were talking about that. My goodness, that analytical energy. I'm going to pull one more message for you. That analytical energy, I feel like it gets them every time. And especially with them trying to reconcile some of their more, I feel like both of these messages were for you. I'm still learning a lot about myself. I feel like that showed up in reading one as well. Yeah, exactly. They are still learning. They're gathering all of these nuggets of wisdom and trying to figure out how to compile them. What I was saying is I feel like what could be challenging for this person is they are very analytical. They're very factual. They want to make sense of things. But at the same time, they're trying to run maybe some of these more emotional feelings or some of these more unexplainable things through this filter of logic. And it doesn't always work for them. It does put them in analysis paralysis because it's hard to know how to move forward when you can't quite reconcile the information. This message says, this connection makes me feel out of control, which I can totally see for somebody who wants to make sense of things. That feeling of being haunted, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense a lot of the time. So I want to end your reading by pulling some, I've got an entire bowl of goodies. So we've got letters, we've got numbers, we've got signs, and some timing information. So a lot of times when I'm tapping into, when I'm channeling the energy of the higher self especially, I feel like everything comes through as symbols. Everything comes through a little bit more vague. So some of these messages might make sense to you. They might help tie things together or kind of hit the nail on the head for you. And some of these messages you won't understand at all. So we'll just see what comes through, and we'll see if any of these are representative of your connection or something that you can look out for regarding this connection. So let's see, number 2. So we have the number 3. That could be a number that's significant to your connection, a number you've seen a lot in connection with this relationship, or a number you've seen on repeat. We have November. I'm filming this in October, so this could be an indication of movement or some kind of communication, some type of progress in this relationship coming up very soon within the next month or two. If you're not watching this at the time that this video is released, this could be a reference to a time that the two of you met or connected in a particular way, or a birthday. We have Aries. I don't know if we talked a lot about astrological signs here, but I do feel like we had some fire energy. So Aries, we have December. Interesting, because I said within the next month or next month or two. So we have a little bit of a date range forming there. So there might be something significant going on, or something significant that did happen in this connection around around November, December. It really could be October, November, December. And I'm also hearing like the holidays. So there could be some sort of connection around the holidays. We have Aquarius energy here. I'm seeing a lot of, well, I see 2 A's here. So the letter A may be significant. We have Virgo. I'm getting a lot of signs. We have the letter S. the letter J, the letter L. Grab you a few more. There we go with October. Interesting. We've got W. We've got number 9 in connection with Virgo. So that's making me think of September. And you guys are like, I don't know what's going on. If we're thinking September, then we're thinking October, November. September, October, November, and December as being significant somehow. For some of you, we have the letter N and we have Y. So you might see initials here. I'm getting like New York for some of you. What else is coming? For some of you, I'm hearing that your person goes by an initial, or you do, like goes by their initials, like JR, or like I don't know why that came to mind, but they might go by JR or by what am I hearing? I can't pick up on what I'm hearing here. DJ. Something like that, where they go by initials like that. That might make sense to some of you. And for some reason, my guides say pull another one. Oh, and I pull a D. Okay, that's too much. So yeah, DJ, that might somehow be significant. That could be their name, what they go by. They could literally be a DJ. Oh, we were talking about musical references. So that could be a reference to that. Like they're picking up on messages and learning a lot through music, or they're working in music or something like that. So interesting. Take whatever messages resonate when it comes to this kind of thing, because it's obviously not going to resonate for everybody, but there could be an initial or something for you to keep in mind here. So it is always very interesting to do. I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me and letting me read your cards, letting me channel this energy. It is a roller coaster. So I hope that you were able to get some important messages, some guidance about this connect. No, this is not over, you guys. We never flipped your card. I covered your card up. Hold on. I was about to end your reading. This card I was going to look at in terms of guidance. And when I said that, I'm like, wait, I never flipped your card. So this says adjustments are required. This is third quarter moon. I actually really love this energy. And here we have, again, another like kind of dark, moody moon like setting. We were seeing that with the Six of Swords. We were seeing that with the moon card itself. So there's a lot that is still being uncovered for this person. And I feel like this message is, it's a little bit of encouragement in terms of this connection, but I also think that this is what this person is realizing. This person is starting to see on a surface 3D level, which is very encouraging, because a lot of times this is only happening on the level of the higher self, but even on a surface 3D level, they're starting to see changes need to be made. I want to approach these situations differently than I have in the past. I want to do things differently. I want to learn from my mistakes. I want to learn from these lessons that have been thrown into my life. I want to understand why I act the way that I do, why I'm triggered by these things, why I might even stand in the way of a vision that I have. So it's like they are in the process of making these adjustments, and they see it for themselves. And it's actually very beautiful. And like I was saying, admirable energy. This is the energy of somebody who's really trying to figure stuff out, because what's showing up on the surface level for them is very profound. And I enjoyed seeing that. So yes, I am now going to end your reading. Now that we have actually flipped your card, that would have been a shame. So thank you so much for hanging out with me, being patient with me as I forget to show you your cards. And yeah, if you enjoyed this reading, if you got any messages, if something resonated for you, don't forget to like the video, leave me a comment down below, and hit subscribe if you feel like it. And hopefully I will see you again in another reading really soon. Bye. Hi, number 3. If you were drawn to the Sapphire necklace, this is going to be your reading. We're going to get channeled messages from your person's higher self. So before we jump in, I want to talk a little bit about the necklace that you were drawn to, the stone that you were drawn to. So Sapphire is a stone that's known to strengthen the intuition. This is a very, very deep, dark sapphire here. These stones are very dark. So this is known to strengthen the intuition and to bring about spiritual clarity. I'll say it like that. So I feel like your person's higher self is kind of urging them to tap into their spiritual side. It might be that they're feeling these internal nudges or pulls toward becoming more spiritually connected, or listening to their intuition a little bit more, tapping into that intuitive side, ultimately so that they can access the knowledge, the wisdom, the experience from that higher perspective. This is a stone of introspection, of reflection, and I feel like your person's higher self is highlighting the need or the desire for introspection. So maybe we'll see if more of that comes out, because I don't know if this is something that their higher self is letting you know that like this person is tapping into these things, or if this is something that their higher self realizes, hey, you need to use your intuition a little bit more. You need to tap into these higher levels a little bit more. That might be the case. We'll see if we'll get any more messages about that. So what I'm picking up on is that your person might be searching for the right answers right now. Their higher self is kind of aware. I'm feeling like from this energy, because I'm already channeling, and their higher self is very matter of fact, I will say. Their higher self is aware that the answers that they're seeking right now are within them. So this is kind of an indication this person might be looking for answers outside of them, where they're not likely to find them, and their higher self might be aware of that fact. And I feel like there's this little like acknowledgement or encouragement to look within. And this could also be an indication that this person is starting to look within, but we will see what else we get. Now, I am going to do something a little different that I don't usually do, and I'm not going to flip this card. We will flip this card later towards the end of your reading, and we're going to use it as some sort of like advice or guidance when it comes to this connection. This could be additional messages from your person's higher self. But yeah, we're going to scoot that over, and I want you guys to just shout at me to not forget to flip it, because I almost forgot the last time. So you're going to be here with me. Help me stay on track and not forget to flip that card. I'm going to begin with some animal spirit energy. And what I want to look at to begin with is, I think I just blew your candle out. Let's fix that. Let's fix that. Okay, so sorry about that. That candle didn't want to light, and things like that, I never really think that they happen by chance. And I feel like this is a message that, like, I think we were on to something there about this person, like their higher self is showing that your person is looking for answers in the wrong places, or that has been a pattern of theirs, to look for answers in the wrong places, to look for satisfaction or fulfillment in the wrong places. And to not be focused on the things that will bring true joy and satisfaction into their life, or true understanding into their life. So I just feel like that candle not lighting back is kind of a symbol of like something not being right, or some knowledge not being revealed, something not being accessible from where we're looking. So very interesting, but not by chance. So let's look at how this person's energy is presenting on a surface level here, and then we're going to do the exact same thing for how this person's higher self is coming through energetically. So on a surface level, we have the crocodile. Okay, I just heard stealthy. As soon as I saw this card, I just heard stealthy. So this person is coming across as somebody who's really good at keeping their feelings hidden and keeping themselves hidden, not exposing all of themselves at once. It's almost like they don't want to show all their cards at once. They don't want to reveal themselves at once. And this is their higher self saying this. So I feel almost like this person would be like, no, I don't. Like, that's what I'm here. Like, no, like if you were to actually ask this person, there's some level of them that can't fully admit that this is their approach, or this is how they come across, because their higher self is calling them out and is saying, you keep it all really hidden. You keep everything kind of beneath the surface. You're really stealthy in the way that you move. And I feel like this might be something that they're working on, or something that they're being guided to work on. So, yeah, I feel like to you, you understand that they keep a lot hidden. They keep a lot undercover. This might even be somebody that, I hate to say this, but like if this resonates for you, you know, this might be somebody that maybe they've given you the feeling that they might be sneaking around sometimes, or that they're doing things behind your back. They're not being fully upfront with, I feel like this really does come down to feelings. Again, water energy here. So this is like them not being fully upfront with their feelings. Yeah. And it's like, you know, this, you know, they present this way on the surface level, and they might not feel like that, or they might turn this around on you and say, you're the one that doesn't, you're not expressing. It's not them, it's you. I feel like for some of you, there's some dynamic like that in the relationship, because there's like this argumentative energy, but that's why I like channeling the information from the higher self, because they tell me straight up. They tell me like it is. And this person likes to stay hidden. Crocodile energy is also very observant. It's sort of that watch and wait mentality, because the crocodile isn't going to just strike until exactly and precisely when they perceive it to be the right time. So this person might seem like they're held back, or like they're hesitant. There might be kind of this sense that that they're waiting for something, or that they're waiting to see movement in some area. They're waiting for confirmation of something. Or even that held back feeling, it's even another reference to keeping themselves hidden or covering something up. And almost this feeling of like waiting as long as they can before this will be revealed. And this can really talk about their feelings. I think for a lot of you it does. Waiting until that last minute, holding something back. And I'm almost getting this sense of like, they might wait too long. And I don't even think that that's their energy coming through. That might even be your energy, that like, well, if you wait this long to tell me how you feel, or if you wait this long to fully express yourself, I might not be there. There's this vibe there. Oh, that's their higher self. That's their higher self acknowledging that. That was a message from their higher self. It's like they, from that higher perspective, they can see that if you wait for everything, you might lose the opportunity. And this even extends beyond relationships. This is like a lesson that they're learning. You can't wait around forever to take that chance, to take that opportunity, to make that dream come true, because your opportunity might slip by. You might just literally run out of time, is how that's coming through. So on the surface, I feel like this could be somebody who goes off the radar sometimes, who disappears. They might tend to pull away or outright disappear, and you don't know where they went at all. I keep returning to this imagery of like burying or submerging feelings. On the surface, they can come across as being withdrawn sometimes. I just have to say, if this person does tend to disappear for long stretches of time, this is the energy of somebody who always checks back in with you energetically, but it's like they do it undercover, they do it behind the scenes. So even if you haven't heard from this person for a long time, or there are times when you think that they've taken their attention away from this connection completely, this is somebody who's going to check your pictures on social media. This is somebody who's going to maybe ask people. It's funny because I feel like now they won't, because they really keep their feelings hidden. So if there's someone in their life that they can get like easy information about what's going on with you, they will, without revealing anything about themselves. But it's like, there's this undercover energy about them. There's this like, I'm going to check in, but they'll never know I'm doing it. I miss them, but they'll never know I do type of energy. Yeah. They keep returning to your energy. They keep returning to check back in. This might be somebody who's more aware of what's going on with you than you realize, because there is that feeling of them keeping tabs on you, that feeling of looking at your pictures on social media, or getting information from friends you have in common, or seeing you in passing and not always saying not always saying something, not always acknowledging themselves. I just have this feeling, and I don't want to be creepy because it's not, I'm not feeling like this is creepy energy. I just feel like it's this feeling of they see you and you might not see them type of thing, which does sound kind of creepy. So I apologize for that, but I'm really, that's not the feeling. It's just, it's this feeling of them wanting to be checked in with you, wanting to be connected with you, but not wanting to be very obvious about it at all. Even, I just heard checking you out. I just heard, this is even that they check you out in a discreet way because they don't want you to notice that they're doing that. Very interesting. They come across as withdrawn, but there's also this very locked in energy with this crocodile energy here. Very stealthy, very quiet. This can also be somebody who comes across as being reserved, or they're reserved when it comes to their emotions. I kind of feel like there's this energy with the crocodile. A crocodile is very locked in on their prey. So this is just an example, especially for those of you who feel like this person goes dark or disappears or loses interest. It's like they're locked in. They're more engaged than you think. But on the surface, they come across as very, very hidden, very stealthy, not accessible. There's kind of this feeling that this isn't really somebody who misses very much. They're very observant. They're very tuned in. Even if they're quiet or silent, they don't miss much. And there's also this vibe of like them acting very instinctually. And so this can come up a couple of different ways. For some of you, a few different things are happening here with this person at the same time. So I think that this person feels very instinctual towards you. They have a natural instinct to move towards you. This can also suggest a lot of physical attraction in this connection. They feel naturally drawn towards you. And at the same time, their natural instinct. So we're talking about instincts here. They feel the instinct and the impulse to move closer to you. And at the same time, they feel the natural instinct to hide or to wait or to want to be sure about something, to hold on to this sense of like, I'm protected until I say this type of energy, and then I'd be exposed, so I don't want to risk that. That is definitely coming through as a surface level. So let's look at the energy of their higher self. We have the Cobra. I'm laughing because that's just too weird. That's just too weird. Those are very similar energies, and I see the difference at the same time. I see why this is the energy of the higher self. So I feel like are you kidding me? The Cobra, this energy, it's so similar to the crocodile in many ways. The Cobra does represent protection. Crocodile has strong protective instincts as well. And this is, again, with the Cobra energy, again, a very stealthy energy. So I kind of get the feeling that your person's higher self is acting like a mirror for some of that more surface level energy. Their higher self's asking them to be both the student and the teacher here. So they are going through something here. They're going through this phase of needing to serve both of those roles in their life, and they're asking themselves really to observe their own patterns here. I feel like they're being asked to kind of pull inward and be really, be in that role of the curious student that asks questions. Especially, I'm picking up on questions about this need to remain unseen or to remain protected, to remain guarded, or this desire to kind of keep parts of themselves hidden. So this person might be quite introverted. They might kind of be going through a time where this more introverted or introspective energy is being called upon, because this inward energy, it's almost hermit-like energy, to be honest. It's showing up on both the surface level and on these higher realms of consciousness. So it's showing up as the higher self and the surface level. And it's just so interesting because in the beginning of the reading, and especially with that whole candle incident, this is like, we were talking about maybe looking for answers in all the wrong places, and that what I was channeling from this person's higher self is their higher self knows that the answers are within them. So mirroring this energy is key here, because that's how we really look at ourselves with a mirror. Stop looking outward, look in. And I feel like on a higher self level, on that that realm of consciousness, they're trying to figure all of this out. They're trying to stop looking for answers and trying to stop looking for things to cover up emotions, to cover up hurt, to cover up pain, and start actually exploring and experiencing that, looking inside for those answers. So again, that hermit energy, that is crazy. That is crazy how that came through. Yeah, I feel like they're kind of asking, oh, this higher being is asking and encouraging them to ask questions and observe themselves. I feel like it's interesting to note that both of the animals that showed up to represent your person's energy, both on a surface level and their higher self, are animals that I associate with a period of waiting or studying and reflecting before they make that sudden strike. Both of these animals act like that. So that's what's so weird about this. They wait, they observe, they're locked in, and then they strike. And that can represent sudden movement or sudden growth as well. So I feel like there's something this person wants to understand. And this could be centered around understanding the reason for guarding their hearts the way that they do. The reason for, I didn't mean to say that plural, it's because it's a general reading. So guarding their heart, the way that they do, the reason that they might have their sights set on something, but still be afraid to strike at the same time. This person's higher self is saying that their sights are set on this connection. Their sights are set on this deeper feeling that they've had, but they're afraid to strike at the same time. So it's this interesting dynamic of, I want that. I know I do. That's for me. I know it is. I'm not going to take it. And then they're questioning why. So this is recurring in their life. Their higher self showing me that this is recurring. That mirror is being held up and the questions are being answered, being asked, I should say, they're in the process of trying to find that answer. They want to understand. Yeah, I feel like the encouragement here is it's like encouraging to strike even more. Even I just heard strike up a conversation. So for some of you, this might be something really new. And it's like, they're not in this place of wanting to act. They're scared. And there's this like encouragement, strike, take your shot. Their higher self is encouraging them to take more action. I feel like the cobra is poised and ready to strike. You see, like when a snake's head is reared up like that, they're ready to strike. But there's like a little bit of questioning energy here, questioning the self, questioning if they need to be protective here, questioning if that protection is really necessary. Is it really beneficial, or is it standing in the way of something that could be deeper and that could be more immersive? That's the question here. I feel like there was something in there and I kind of lost it. So hopefully that comes back to me. Let's get kind of the energy that ties these two areas of themselves together. This 3D self, I'm calling it, and this higher self. I feel like this person, like their higher self, would say that on some level they're ready. Because I do get more of a ready to strike energy from the cobra. And their higher self is ready for this growth. Their higher self is ready for this evolution. It's their 3D self that's resistant, which is often the case. But I just feel like these energies are so similar that it's really, there's something that's being resisted on the surface level. There's something that's being resisted in the 3D. We have protecting treasure, card 39. This is talking about where this disconnect is. The disconnect is in protecting this this very vulnerable part that's inside of them. It's that heart-centered energy. This is reminiscent of reading 1, but what I think is happening here is there's collective energy around this fear and this protection here. So it has showed up in the other readings. this treasure that they're referring to as themselves is this this tender part of themselves. I almost want to say it's their inner child for a lot of you. This person is protecting this really tender part of themselves, and it's like what is keeping them from striking is that protection. But now it's forcing them, their higher self is questioning them. Their higher self is saying, please look at this. What are you really protecting? And is that necessary here? Do you need to be this protected? Or can you share your treasure? Can you open up that treasure chest and let somebody else poke around in there and see what's in there? Maybe they have a treasure chest of their own, and maybe we can combine our treasure. Like, I feel like this is what's coming through from this person's higher self. Maybe that protection isn't necessary. Interesting. Let's get some tarot messages from number 3's person's higher self. I've been kind of laughing at how long, how much of a mouthful that is. Oh, 6 of Swords energy. So much energy is repeated. This card showed up in reading 2. Moving away from something. Wow. Strength coming out on its side. I'm going to take it in the upright here. I want to make note of this energy because the Strength card is a lot about our inner strength, our inner will, and the courage that we're cultivating here. And this card coming out this way, it really feels like, it's like, should this be reversed? Should it be upright? And I think that's a wobble in their energy. That's that question. Do I need to protect myself here? Or do I need to cultivate the strength to be vulnerable, to be exposed, to let myself be seen, to let it be known? Messages from number 3's person's higher self. I feel like for you guys, what's really important and what's showing up here is that this person might be someone who's not ever revealed the depth of their feelings to you. This could be a connection where these feelings have not been made known yet. We have the Ace of Swords in reverse, the 4 of Cups in reverse, and we have the 2 of Wands. Just as I was saying that, the Ace of Swords in reverse makes me think about communication that was cut off. Makes me think about maybe ideas that aren't being shared. And almost like I'm getting also this internal energy, like this energy of ideas swirling around inside but never being released, never being expressed, never being shared. So yeah, their higher self is highlighting, pointing out that this person keeps a lot hidden and keeps a lot inside. They don't say everything. They don't, it's not complete. They don't show all their cards. There is this desire and this push toward moving to this place of inner strength, moving to this place of being strong enough to be weak. Being strong enough to be vulnerable. It takes a real strength to admit that you're scared, that you don't want to get hurt, that you have these deep, tender, gushy kind of feelings. That takes strength. And I feel like this person, it's like their higher self is pointing out that they're going through a journey of discovering how to find the strength in that weakness. How to because it's like they wore this armor. Like you see how like both of the animals that came out representing them, they're like these scaled animals. It's like they're wearing armor. They're very protective. So it's like they've been wearing this armor, thinking that was a show of strength, thinking that was going to protect them and that was going to do the trick. And it's like really, actually, they're starting to see, or the lesson here is stripping away that armor is actually the greatest show of strength. Letting that inner strength shine forward is actually what's needed here. Yeah. The 4 of Cups in this reversed position can talk about having a new direction, taking a new option. It also, to me, is speaking of things that we don't want anymore, things we don't want to accept anymore, things we don't want to do anymore, ways we don't want to behave anymore. Because this is a Cups card, this can tie directly to our emotions. I'm not sure if we talked about I should stop going off on tangents because I'll forget what I was talking about. But we have water energy here, fire energy with the Cobra, just throwing that out there in case astrological signs are important to you in this connection. Leo energy here with the Strength card as well. So more fire energy there, and also with the Two of Wands. But we're looking at Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy with that. We also might be dealing with Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio energy here. Well, we've got air. We've got a lot of air here too. So this could be an air sign. I'm not going to name all the signs. The Four of Cups can talk a lot about things like choices we don't want to make anymore, options we don't want to take anymore. And because this is a Cups card, it's tying back to our emotions. So that's what made me think about this crocodile energy, this water energy. This could be like, I feel like this is this person's higher self talking about the deliberation that's going on here. What choice do I want to make when it comes to my emotions? Because here's this cup being offered to me. And you see, even in this Four of Cups, this person's looking at the cup. And a lot of Four of Cups, this person doesn't look in the direction of the cup at all. So this is like an option that you're thinking about taking, is how I'm reading this card. And it's like, this is the easy option as far as I'm concerned. And this person is questioning that. Their higher self is guiding them to question that. Should we take the easy option here, the familiar option? Because that cup that's being offered is, this is how you would typically handle this. This is how you would typically use your emotions, display your emotions, hide your emotions, whatever might be in that cup for this person. And it's like it's in reverse. They're starting to question, is that what I want to do? Is that how I want to express? I just heard, okay, yeah, the messages are coming through directly, like it's just channeled directly from your person's higher self. And I don't know if I want to talk in the first person, but this is how the message is coming through. It's like, it's this, it's when I said, is that how I want to express? And what their higher self is saying is that typically they don't express a lot. So it's really a question of, do I want to express? Should I hide these feelings anymore? Should I do what I always do, or should I do something different? I want to look at the bottom of the deck. We have the Eight of Wands. I love that. I love that because the Eight of Wands talks about speed, and it can also talk about communication, but this is a lot about speed, forward momentum, quick action. And that's that striking. That's that energy of striking. I feel like taking that card out, not leaving it at the bottom of the deck. That's that energy of a sudden strike. And that's what I was saying with this energy here. This can really allude to massive growth that seems to come on really quickly because this person is positioning themselves. They're learning, they're observing. And it's like once they figure something out, they're very quick to take action. They might be a fire sign. Wheel of Fortune under that. Eight of Pentacles. So we're talking about work here. I can't ignore the Ten of Pentacles under that. I'm going to leave that as bottom of the deck energy, but Ten of Pentacles is about having it all and the work paying off, especially following Eight of Pentacles, which talks all about us putting our heads down and getting the work done. And this doesn't have to be referring to our jobs. This can be about the work that we're doing on ourselves, the patterns that we're noticing in ourselves and what we're working toward. And then for that to be followed with the Ten of Pentacles, it's like, there's something about what they're doing here that I think is putting them on the right track, and their higher self is acknowledging that they're on the right track about something here. They're on the right track in the direction that they're trying to work. The Wheel of Fortune talks about events maybe turning in our favor, good fortune, good luck, having the right inclination at the right time. I was going to leave it, but I just can't do it. I just can't do it. So we will take that card out. I feel like there's massive growth here. There's some giant leap forward here for this person. Let's get into this Messengers of the Heart deck, because this is a really good deck to get channeled messages from. And this is, again, from the perspective of this person's higher self. So their higher self might even highlight some of the things that are on this person's mind in a more 3D way, in a more I want to say in a more physical way. I'm not sure if that makes any sense, but more of this crocodile energy, more of this energy that they're consciously operating in on a day-to-day basis. This can bring up some of the concerns. Anxiously waiting. We're talking about the cobra and the crocodile both having that energy of waiting before they strike. And there is an anxious feeling with that when I tap into it, because they've got their eye locked in on something. There is this feeling of like, I really want that. I really want that. But they're waiting. When you're talking about that watch and wait energy, that's what this is about. This card actually says that they're searching for you in everything. They feel you everywhere. And you're always in the back of their mind. You're always someone that they're hoping to run into, or someone that they're hoping to establish a connection with, is that kind of energy here. And we have wishing well. Yeah, excitement in the air. That's that anxious energy, excitement, awakened to a new life. Like there's something that you have awakened within them. There's so many possibilities here. I feel like this person wishes that they could make these changes and these adjustments sooner. And that's kind of the message coming through with their higher self. It's like, I wish I could do this more effortlessly. I wish I had come to these conclusions a lot quicker. I wish I had said what I needed to say back then instead of waiting. I want to get more of these messages. Waiting is a huge theme in this reading. What are they waiting for? We have separation. We have separation here. This came out in another reading too. So you might be in separation with this person. And as I was saying that, what are they waiting for? There's this part of them, I think, if you are in separation with this person, that's waiting for the separation to end, which is very interesting energy, because it's like they have power to end this separation, but there's a part of them that's waiting for something to happen to indicate that there has been an end to the separation. And even with this wishing well card, it's like they're wishing that something would happen that would end the separation, that would make this easier for them. Leap of faith. Wow. That's the strike. I feel like and I didn't get messages like this in the other reading, but I feel like when this person strikes, it's because they're taking a leap of faith. They're going out on a limb. And it might seem like it comes out of nowhere. I don't know why their higher self is giving these types of messages. There might be some kind of encouragement that's needed here, because I wasn't getting this type of message about like a future action, but I feel like they're going to take a major leap of faith here. And it can just come out of nowhere. It's like when they're ready to strike is when it happens. The leap of faith card says they didn't expect this love to run this deep. And it's like they're putting their pride aside to take this leap of faith. I can't imagine my future without you in it. Let's get another message. Wow. That's something you wait for. A future that you can't see that future without that person. That's probably why they're in this waiting energy. These cards don't want to. They don't want to. It's okay. It's okay. Just be crazy. Just be crazy. Let's see. Other messages for number 3 from their person's higher self, please. Vulnerability isn't easy for me. Wow. And I feel like that is so true, that by nature this person is guarded. We were talking about like these animals being scaled. They have like rough exteriors. They're hard to get to. They're hard to understand. And it's like, it's just not easy for them. They feel sometimes like it's just not in their nature to open up, to be vulnerable, to expose themselves, to show these deeper levels of themselves. I feel like we are a perfect match. Wow. You might even mirror each other in that way. You both might have kind of the tendency to be more guarded. I'm going to get one more message. And it's like, in some ways they feel like you might be able to relate to them, or like they can relate to you in some ways. It still feels like it's challenging for them to open up, even if they think that you might understand that part of them on some level. You might not understand why they brought that energy to this connection, but you might understand You might understand the feeling a little bit. I don't want to let this go. Yeah. That's repeated energy. I can't imagine my future without you in it. I don't want to let this go. But at the same time, being vulnerable isn't easy for me. But I've got my eye on you. I've got my eye on you. I've got my sights set on this. That's how that's coming through. Let's flip over your card now. This can be advice, messages, further guidance about this connection. We have full moon in Cancer. A personal issue reaches resolution. This is something deep. It runs deep for them. It is a personal issue for them. More water energy with this full moon in Cancer. Very watery, very emotional energy with full moon in Cancer. And it's like, I feel like when they get this sorted out, that's that strike, that's that sudden movement, that's that 8 of Wands energy. That sudden momentum that propels them forward, because this is about going within. That's why their energy's mirrored here, because this is all about looking within. A personal issue. This is all about looking within. Wow. Okay. I want to end your reading with some goodies. I have a bowl full of goodies here, and this has a lot of things in it. It has letters, numbers, astrological signs, months of the year, things like that. And I do find it interesting, like when I'm channeling from a person's higher self, the messages come through very much in symbols. So this portion of the reading can be very symbolic if there is something here that resonates for you. But at the same time, the messages they're pretty vague and honestly difficult for me to interpret, because it might be something that really just strikes a chord with you and has something to do specifically with your connection. So take what resonates here, leave the rest. It's interesting to see what comes out, and this can even sometimes be something to keep in mind, because it might not be something you've seen yet or anything that's happened yet, but it might turn out to be significant in this journey or in this connection. So we'll see what happens. We have Pisces energy here. We have Aries energy here. We have the number 6. These numbers, they can represent a birth date. They can represent a date that you like met this person, or a significant date in this relationship. Numbers that you've seen in connection to this relationship or on repeat. Sometimes for me, it's even a reference to like a month. So maybe June here. Interesting. Oh, and we have May. It's funny because I was thinking of the 5th month. Interesting. I was thinking of the 5th month, and then we had May come out, but May 6th could be significant to some of you. It doesn't have to be May 6th, but a 6 may be significant. We also have Leo energy here. We had Leo energy show up with the Strength card. We have the number 4. We have the letter H. We have Scorpio energy here. April with 4, so the 4th month. April 4th, April 6th. Cancer energy, which we had with the full moon in Cancer. So that's definite confirmation of this emotional issue and also this personal issue that they are working on. The number 5, 4, 5, and 6. The letter U, the letter J. Some of these, let's see, and I might pull a couple more. For some reason, the U really stood out, and I think that was a reference to them saying, like, you, it's always been about you, because there's this feeling of it being really locked in. Like, they're very locked in, very focused on you. January, and E also coming out. These could be initials. I'm also seeing he. And that, I just heard that could be the start of someone's name may start that way, H-E. Very interesting. So yeah, look that over. See if there's anything that resonates for you in those messages, any initials that jump out or dates that jump out. And also, if something does catch your attention, this could be something that is going to come up, something that you can look forward to. We did have only one, no, we had 2 months. We had January and April come out. So this could be referencing important events regarding like when you met this person, or major movements in your relationship that has already occurred, or things that you have to look forward to. So this could be something coming up in January. I'm also seeing a date range here, January to April. So for some of you, that might be a significant date range, but it also might be giving you just kind of a span of time about when you might see this movement, because this was unusual in terms of giving so much about this sudden strike, or talking about future actions that this person may take. So it could be that an action is taken, or a significant action was taken in this connection from January to April. Very interesting there. Very interesting. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave your reading there, number 3. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and letting me read your cards, letting me channel this energy. If you did enjoy this reading, if you received any messages, anything that was helpful, which I really hope you did, don't forget to like the video, leave me a comment down below, and hit subscribe if you feel like it. And hopefully I will see you again in another reading really soon. Bye.